There we go.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and boy do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now. Now let me see if I pronounce your last name right. Is it Alex Zahara?
You can say Zahara or Zahara.
I that was both ways were the way I was gonna go. I didn't know which way it
There
was
you
right.
go.
Awesome. So Alex Zahara and he played King Midas in Once Upon a Time. Hey
It's
Alex, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Like we were just saying moments ago, I'm in the middle of renovation hell, and I'm renovating my house, and it's just like, oh my god! Like, thank
Yes.
thank God for YouTube, and shame on YouTube for letting a man such as myself think he knows more than he does.
Oh my God, I can only imagine. We've been trying to set this interview up for I don't even know how many months now. And
It's been a
I'm so
while,
glad we finally made it happen. We were
but
scheduled for last week and we were going to do it last week, but I got my
right,
second dose of the COVID shot. So I was out sick that day. And you said,
right,
well, that's okay because I have to do renovations. So it worked
yep.
perfectly.
Hmm.
Not for me. I didn't want to be sick, but it worked perfectly. So
No,
we like, how about next Wednesday? We're like, that
yeah.
works. We did
And if
it.
anyone doubts, like look at this, look at the scratches on my arms. I don't know if you can see
Ooh.
this. Hang on. Scratches on my arms, scratches on my arms. My legs are just covered in scratches and cuts because it's warm and I'm wearing my shorts and then I'm like, oh my God, look at me. I look like I've been attacked by a bunch of, blood hungry chihuahuas or something. I don't know.
That's
Anyway.
crazy. That's crazy. So the first question I do got for you is how did you get your start into acting?
Hmm. First off, forgive me for drinking. I'm just thirsty, and I
No
have this
problem.
thing called AHA. I'm not plugging anything, but it's lime and watermelon. And my
Ooh.
God, it's so good. It's like a bubbly. It's just
I
yummy.
I'm drinking the sparkling ice orange mango flavor. Zero sugar, zero
Oh, I
everything.
love
I love
those. Those are the
these.
best.
I love
I'm a
these.
mango freak. Like I would ingest mango like through my ears if I could.
Yes, I'm the
So
same.
okay, how did I get my start acting? Um, well, honestly, if you listen to and talk to my mother, she'll say it was when I was 3 years old, and it was I would do sock puppet plays behind the couch for the other kids in the neighborhood, and I was 3 doing sock puppet plays. So I think I just came by it naturally. It just got it. It was just there all the time. Performance, I think. Not and. I'm going to just preface something. A lot of people think, "Oh, you're theater, you're performing, or got to get the attention." It was never about attention for me. I just enjoyed telling good stories and having fun, and that was what it was. It was fun. It wasn't
Yeah.
work. It wasn't whatever. So that's why I guess it was just there. And then my mother took me to a lot of theater. I remember seeing Fiddler on the Roof when I was like 5, and
Nice.
they did it at the high school gym I would eventually attend. And anyway, I mean the lights went out, so it goes all dark, and then the lights come up, and there's this silhouette of a little guy fiddling on a roof.
Nice.
you know, just blew my mind because like literally a house appeared in the middle of the gym where nothing was moments ago. And I think it's the magic of it. So I just got hooked
Yeah,
and just kept going from there, taking classes in school, went to
nice.
university, got a degree in acting, yada, yada,
That's
yada.
awesome. So what was your audition like for Once Upon a Time?
I auditioned for it several times actually. Um, Specifically, it's funny because I auditioned for I think Dr. Whale, character
Nice.
Dr. Whale, and what's the name? Giacomo, the mirror, the magic mirror.
Oh, Genie. Giancarlo.
Giancarlo.
Yep.
Yeah, I auditioned for that as well. Most of those you figure they're going to go to LA, the bigger parts like that, and recurring
Yeah.
whatever anyway, because just the way it is. But I thought, well, maybe King Midas I got a shot at because I got the blonde hair and this and that. And when I auditioned for it and got the role, post getting the role, I can't remember which producer it was. Forgive me, but he or she, I think it was he, said, we had you in mind right from the get go for this part because we saw you when you first did your audition. We were like, we kind of got somebody in mind for Dr. Whale and the Magic Mirror, but this guy make a great King Midas because of the beard. My beard used to have color back then; it's all gone white now. So all the stress of renovations. Um, but no, yeah. So it was great. I walked in and did it, and you played it very like, the guy. Excuse me, the bubbly, or not the bubbly, the aha is coming back on me. But it was like, you had to really. think it was a curse, right? It was a blessing and a curse because he couldn't touch anyone, couldn't touch anything without turning it to gold. He had to wear these gauntlets all the time, and then
Yeah.
plus he only had one hand in it, you know. And my storyline was that the dragon that he wants killed bit it off. So there you go. You know, but it was really good. I was prepared, walked in, and just, you know, had that air of regality around me, and I've got a fairly deep resonant voice, so that kind of helps. And yeah, I was just walked in and did my thing, and I think I only did it once, and they were just like, "Great, thanks for coming out." And I was like, "Yeah, you're welcome." And then I got the phone call, and I did it, what, episode 6, season 1, and I think episode 3, season 2 or something. Oh, no, I did no season 3
Season 3.
finale. Yeah,
Yep.
season 3 finale or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, that was fun. It was
That's
good.
awesome.
The weirdest thing was that when we were filming, if I may, was
Yeah.
just like, it was the first time I'd done like the massive green screen environment,
Yeah.
you know, and because only the physical props, like, you know, here's my like travel bag, you know, only that stuff was in the room, and like everything else was just not there.
Nice.
So you're acting in an environment that they say, okay, you're in a castle. All right. You know, you don't know what your castle looks like or nothing. So
Right.
it's just play the moment. Okay.
Awesome. And that was actually one of my questions that near the end was like, was it all a green screen, or how did they make, like, how did you know about the, like, where everything was if you didn't really see it?
You kind of marked it out, and they told you where this was or that was, and I mean, the physical, so anything physical that actually moved, like the doors or this or that, I mean, that stuff was real. Like if you touched it, it was real. But like the bigger, grander setting in the background and different things, it was all,
Nice.
you know, CGI.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So I know you mentioned, we talked a little bit about this before we started recording. I said it wasn't even an original question, but I thought, hey, this would be a good question for the podcast.
Yeah.
So like I said, you said that, you know, you have like the hair and the facial hair and that. So was the hair real, and was the beard real that you had?
Beard was real. I've worn facial hair, beard primarily, as maybe a goatee in my youth. Since I was a kid, like 17, 18, as soon as I could grow a beard, I don't know, I just like the beard. I've always had facial hair, but it's very rare to see me without facial hair.
Right.
Anyway, so it was real. And because I was like this, having a beard, if you need it for your audition, it's there. Where if you can't, I mean, I can shave it off overnight, but I can't grow a beard overnight, you know?
Right.
So it's always good to keep it on, I find. And then the hair, so that was real. And the hair, they put a couple extensions in the back, and just to make it look a little longer. But I was saying earlier, I've kept my hair long my whole life until I had my COVID hair recently cut off. And I think it was like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 inches, just like gone. You know, I'm looking around like I look like some hippie, you know? And then I played Michael the hippie in the Stargate 1969 episode, and I laughed because we talked about this earlier just quickly, but my hair at one point was about down to here. And I should find the picture. I got a great picture for you. But I had long hair in university, and so yeah, that was extensions for that too. But yeah, it was nice. But they clip in and clip out, which is great. Yeah. The King Midas ones, the Stargate ones were like blended into my hair, and I couldn't wash my hair for a week. Oh God, it was ugly.
Ouch. So what was the best part about filming Once Upon a Time, and what was the worst?
Oh gosh, you know, listen, we live in the first world, right? As it were, to use that term. Maybe it's a derogatory term these days, forgive me, but we live in a very privileged world. Let's put it that way.
Right.
My worst, what, craft services wasn't ready on time? I mean, what do you got to complain about? You know what I mean?
Right.
But in terms of like weirdness, maybe, what was the best stuff was just working with the people. Like, I can't remember the director's name, but I really liked him. So look it up. I could tell you, but he was a really cool guy. I enjoyed him. And Alan Dale was really cool, and of course Josh, and you know, very really nice, grounded, good people. And like, you know, I only did like season 1, episode 6, and then it wasn't back till season 3. And when Josh saw me again, hey Alex, hey, it's great to see you again. How are you? Just picked up like we were old friends, you know, and that was really cool, because not all folks are like that, as we know. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, and I guess the weirdest and most challenging thing was just acting in that environment. It was the first time I'd ever really been in a totally CGI environment, and so that was a bit of a challenge. Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. So obviously we know that really, you know, fancy scene where you enchant the sword and you made it glow. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that glow effect was done in post-production, but was there any special acting ability that you needed to do for that?
To be clear, I turned it to gold.
That's true.
I didn't make it glow; it turned to
Turn into
gold.
gold, right?
Um, yeah, it was all. We had a regular sword, and then we had a
Mhm.
gold sword.
Okay.
So we did one take with, he comes in and I reach out and touch it, and then everybody goes, freeze, don't move. Nobody moves. We all keep our position. The props guy comes in, props master comes in, takes the sword away, puts the gold sword back in, and we line it up and go, okay, and action, and then you continue the scene. So that way they're able to, have the two shots, and then they overlay it and make the thing glow or
That's awesome.
glow, haha, make it go to gold.
I had to look back at the scene because I couldn't remember if it just like kind of like sparkled or if you did turn it to gold. And I looked, and when I watched the scene, I looked at it and it looked like it glue for a second. So I quick marked
It probably
that
did. Maybe that was the enchantment happening.
maybe, and then it turned into gold after that. I didn't watch the whole part of the episode, so that could have been my fault. But I know, like, and it's funny how the show works because, like, it was just a small piece of dialogue that was important for an
Yeah.
entire episode. Where I forget who it was, so forgive me for whoever's watching this. I forget who it was off the top of my head, but I know they mentioned you, like, remember, like, be careful, King. Remember what happened to Frederick, and
Actually, it
then the
was
whole
me.
episode.
I say to my attendant, because he goes to take the
Yes,
gauntlet off, and I go, careful, remember what happened to Frederick. Well, Frederick
yes.
was actually the man who was in love with my daughter.
Hmm.
And I'm like, he stepped out of line, did something wrong, whatever, just saying. And daddy had to put the touch on,
Yep.
and that's the thing. If you accidentally touch my hand, you're gone, buddy. You're
Right.
gold,
Right.
so
And it's funny because a lot of people that when I talk about the show, like a lot of people are like, was King Midas because he wasn't Disney based? Is he like was he just a made up character for the show? No. Remember that saying they say, the Midas touch.
sure. It's part of myth.
It's
I
part of
believe it's
mythology, right?
Greek. Well, it's Greek mythology,
Yes.
and and I think eventually he freed himself from the curse by washing his hands in a certain river, and that's why I guess lots of rivers, like they say, you find gold in rivers to this day because of
Mhm.
that.
Yep.
Um, but it was a curse because he couldn't eat food. He had to be fed. Like people had to
Right.
feed him like a baby, and he couldn't touch any food, nothing.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
really, he would have starved to death had he not been a king. Because
Exactly.
who's gonna go? Well, although if he'd say, "Could you feed me my dinner?" and they're like, "Oh, God, well, wait a minute, I'll just turn this apple into a hunk
Yep.
of gold. Will you do it now?" Sure,
Right. And it makes sense because you remember where David, or James as he was known at the time, like he was
Yeah,
known by that other name to pretend to be
right.
the brother. He went to fight, he killed the Siren because that water had mythical properties that could be used to get the gold off of Frederick and free him from that curse. So
There you
that's
go.
where that that mythological story comes into play,
Sure. Yeah.
which is really, it's really cool how it all plays back. That one line leads to an entire episode,
Yeah.
closer to the end of the season, which is
Well,
really
the
cool.
writers, they knew what they're doing.
Yep, and they did an amazing job. I watched this show probably all 7 seasons on Netflix. I'd say give or take 13, 14 times straight
Wow.
through. And I didn't watch it in a while, but I absolutely love the show. And I went to a convention. I spent over $3,000 just going to the convention just to meet
Wow.
Lana Parrilla, because she helped me get through when my dad was diagnosed with brain cancer,
Mm.
and she helped me get through, like, watching her on the show, getting that redemption story arc, and that she has the second chance at life and all that stuff. So it made me have hope that my dad would get through his brain cancer battle. He's still battling it, but it's almost
Oh,
5 years, and they gave him a year and a half to live. And I mean, I told her that, and she literally put on her Instagram story a picture of us together and a picture of my book, and she put, "This man," because I wrote a
wow.
book about my dad. And yeah, it was a
That's
really
pretty
good.
cool.
It was really cool. And that was actually my next question. Why I
Yeah.
got into that story briefly was, what was it like working with Lana?
Just had a few quick little scenes with her. She was, really
Yeah,
cool, nice lady, very genuine, down to earth, like very, care. You felt like she was very professional, but also like really cared. You know what I mean?
yeah,
She was just super sweet, nice. It's a great thing. It's tough when you say, like, how do you describe really good people? Well, they're great. They're good people. You know what I mean?
right,
And then it's like, well, how do you describe the bad people? Well, there's more adjectives in some respects because it irks,
right.
irks us more. But no, I mean, that was the thing working on Once Upon a Time. There was nobody who was a jerk. Like, I
Right.
met one of my heroes, Robert. Like, geez, like Carlisle. I've admired his acting for years. And actually, funny enough, I saw him at I saw his film. but was it The Legend of Barney Thompson?
Right,
He plays this like hair cutter in Scotland who ends up
right.
accidentally offing a bunch of people. Anyway, but just it's his range is incredible. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I just really loved working with everybody. There was just sweet, nice people.
Yeah, and I reached out to Robert Dage, and he wasn't able to do do an interview with me because he's really busy right now, and he's
Okay.
taking a little bit of breaks from interviews and that too. So he's just focusing on, I guess he has a couple movies there, whatever he's working on or whatever, which
Right.
is respectable. I mean, I'm grateful that they didn't ignore and they told me, which
No,
I mean,
excellent.
and I definitely look forward to eventually interviewing him. I think that would be really
Mm.
cool. He's very talented, really
Great
talented.
guy.
Absolutely. So when you were needed to be brought back for season 3, how did that
Mm.
come about?
Well, they knew they were going to bring me back at some point. So, excuse me, they phoned my agent a few months ahead of time. Excuse me. Hmm. I'm just thermoregulating my brain. I heard this the other day on the CBC, national radio broadcaster. They said yawning isn't actually your sign of bored or fatigue. It's you. They've proved it's your body thermal, like regulating the heat of your brain by yawn. It affects it
That makes
somehow.
sense though, because I every time I'm always busy and I'm always trying to think of things that I need to do or think of ways to do it, and every time I do it, I yawn. So that does make really perfect sense.
Sorry. Question again was what's
So,
that?
well, how did it come about for you being brought
Oh,
back
right.
for season
Yeah.
3?
Season 3. Okay. So they emailed or called my agent like, a few weeks maybe ahead of
Mhm.
time and just said, "Hey, we're thinking of Alex bringing him back on this episode. Just, can you grow the facial hair and stuff?" So I was like, "Oh, cool." So, they planned it obviously in advance as they plan the seasons. And
Right.
excuse me. And then yeah, so I came back and did it. Was really cool. Like I said, it was I don't think I did a big gig in it. It's funny, that's the most costume fittings I've ever had in my life. I think I had 5 or 6 costume fittings for all the
Wow.
robes and everything else. And I mean, they spared no expense. I had these uh John Fluvog Lord's something or other boots on. They were
Right.
like $500 for these boots. I know. And you don't see them, but it doesn't matter. You don't see them. It gives you the sense of power and regality because you've got these like boots on for
Right.
days underneath the robes. And anyway, it's fun times.
Crazy. So the follow-up I have to that question was there a clause in your contract when you were signed in season 1 that would state that if you were needed for like a future season or a future episode, would you need to like obligate that, or would you need to
Well,
come back?
it's things like that. There's agreements and deals and stuff. Like if they know like you're coming back for sure and lots, well then you're a recurring or regular, right? So they negotiate that right off the get-go. Um, if it's just a couple episodes and stuff, they might put something in. But then again, if seasons change, things do stuff. So they don't really want to obligate themselves too much, right?
Right.
So yeah, only if they know for sure they like you're integral to the storyline, you're coming back like half a
Right.
dozen times, and then they would probably. But for just stuff like my bit, no, they would just call in advance and say, "Hey, is he still free? Can he come and do this?" Yeah, great,
Yeah.
okay. So
So what happens like if you weren't free? How would they go about that? Would they just work around your schedule to make that fit?
it all depends on their thing. What it all comes down to what they need to do the production really, because I mean it's like a machine, right?
Right.
They got a schedule. Now they may be able to push an episode, pull an episode, film 107 or 307 instead of 306, and then go back
Right.
and do 306. So something like that, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they could do, but with the finale like that, I mean, they probably needed to keep it roughly around the same time
Yeah. It
that
would
they'd
make sense.
originally planned. But no, I've done that before where like, people have, worked together and moved stuff around. It's like the same old thing, like, it's feast or famine. You don't book anything for like months, and then all of a sudden you got 5 gigs at once, and you can only do
Right.
2 because of the conflict. But
Right.
I've had people work it out where I've literally finished one show at like 7 p.m. and or 6 p.m. and raced to another show at like 7 p.m. and I worked 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then I worked traveled for an hour and worked 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Oof.
on a different show. That was tough.
I
But yeah, no, they work it out. Like good shows, good people, good coordinators and stuff work stuff out, you
Right.
know? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, if there was something you hadn't done on the show that you could have done if you were asked, what would it be
Mm.
and why?
Oh, gee, that's a gee whiz, golly. Listen, no, I'm like, listen, I'm in Mayberry. Andy, what are you doing, Andy? Um, I don't know. That's a tough one. Well, I was a fan of the show too. Like I really, when it excuse me first came on the air, I was just like, whoa, I really, really enjoyed it. in the sense of like, I say that not that I did enjoy it later, but it's like so many shows you kind of, it takes a while to get
Yeah,
into, whereas this show, I got into it immediately.
that's how it was for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the fairy tales and the
Yeah.
stories and whatnot. Could have done something. I don't know. Like, where would King Midas have gone? It would be. I would have thought in the future episodes, and maybe you would see what happened with, like, that I'd be involved with, like, more of like my daughter and
Mhm.
her husband, Frederick, her suitor
Yeah.
or whatever. See what happened with that, and was it an accident? Was it not? Sort of with him around, right? And
Yeah.
or like, I want to see that dragon dead because that sucker took my hand.
Right.
So I wanted to see that,
Absolutely.
like the second part of that. Like, I want to see that story,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with Abigail, like Princess Abigail, like they really really didn't, they really didn't conclude that story arc. I don't think. Like
Right,
they really like left it. Like the last time you really saw her was when was like, I wouldn't say Storybrooke time. I would say like actually saw
right,
her with the King Midas arc was when she was embracing Frederick. He was unreleased, and then the next time you see her is in season 3 is the flashbacks, like
right.
for like when they went back in time. But that's really all you saw. And then like you did see her in
Yeah.
present day, like in the granny's diner, like briefly just as one of the patrons. But that's really all they showed, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
But I think what happened was she booked another series.
Oh, did
Um,
she?
I don't think she. I don't know. I'm just guessing. It's conjecture. She did a show called Copper, I think, at the same
Okay.
time. It was a period piece about a policeman back in the day, I think in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and out east somewhere, maybe New York.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure she booked that and went and did that. Probably because maybe I'm just speculating. Maybe Once Upon a Time couldn't commit because they weren't sure where they're going to go. Because
Right.
even in the first season, things are developing. Maybe they
Yeah.
couldn't commit because you got to remember it's a really big cast, and they're probably
Yeah.
trying to save some money on not paying people of millions of dollars or
Yeah.
something. Who
Absolutely.
knows? But I know that she went and did another show, and then came for a couple of seasons, and then came back in season 3. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Makes
and
sense though.
that's just my conjecture.
Right. Now, did you see every single episode and season of Once Upon a Time?
You know what? No, I have to admit freely I didn't because of several reasons.
Yeah.
One, I'm busy. I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
when the shows are on at night, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm usually rehearsing. Like,
Makes sense.
I don't have see, people feel actors, oh, nightlife. I don't have a nightlife. I usually I have to learn lines all night. That's what I do. Like, my girlfriend sees me. Well, she luckily helps me. My fiance, actually, Shannon,
Mhm.
she helps me a lot, and
Yeah.
it's crazy because I mean, I'll work from 6, 7 p.m. when I get the sides till midnight,
Yeah.
2 in the morning to get them prepped.
Right.
So I don't watch a lot of TV, unfortunately. I wish I did. During the pandemic, I did,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I don't watch a lot. I end up doing hopefully more of it than I watch, but that's not true either. So I watch
Right.
it.
And now you don't even have a day life. You're in renovation hell.
I'm in renovation hell. Well, it's going to be better, I know, but I mean, like, oh man.
Yeah. You sent me some of the pictures, and it looks like it's starting to come along. It's really, I think it's really looking good so far. Like it's really coming
Yeah,
back in
the kitchen's come along. Well, the kitchen was something built in the 80s in this house and just terrible. Like,
there.
why
Right.
would you do that? And it was particle board and crap. And I just like, I thought it was solid wood because the fronts were solid wood, but no,
Yeah.
they weren't. Anyway, it's all been ripped out and then there's new stuff in place. I've just got to plumb in the sink and do some other stuff. I have to admit though, I really do enjoy doing this stuff. My dad was a maintenance man for years, and maybe that's where I got it from or whatever, but he would take
Yeah.
me to work as a kid, and you know,
Mhm.
I'd help out during crises because we had a flood one time in my hometown, excuse me. And I went to work with him and helped him do all the stuff and whatever. And I was kind of enamored by it, but I like being physical and doing things with my hands. And at the end of the day, you see your progress. You're like, there, I did that. Whereas with acting,
Right.
it's great. Like, you can do something and it felt good, but you don't see the result for years
Right.
later.
Just don't turn it into gold.
Well, I wish I could turn some stuff into gold, help pay for the renovations. Come on.
Oh, there you go. Good point. There you go.
Or Bitcoin or whatever this morning. I heard it would drop like crazy and then shot up again. And anyway,
Exactly. So the last question I got for you is
sure.
there any projects or gigs that you would like to promote to the listening and viewing audience?
Oh wow. Well, recently, sorry, Aliens Stole My Body is a show that I was in, and it dropped on Netflix, I believe. Oh, gotta double check that. I think it's on Netflix. And it's an ongoing series of movies. I've been lucky enough to be part of with written by Bruce. Oh, not the movies written by, but the author of the books is Bruce Colville, and really good stuff from the 90s. And it's it's fun. I play Tar Gibbons, and I look like a giant four-legged sort of alien weirdo with snail eyes up here and whatnot. And it was really hard to play that role, I'll be quite frank, because we're in full-on prosthetic makeup, and like literally if you go like this and put your hands over your eyes, that's what I can see through the little slits, and so imagine I'm in this, and they have me on 6-inch high boots. So, and I have like 2 fake legs on either side of me, so it's a challenge, but it's fun. And they did a really good job with the first one, and then the second one they put more money into it, and it looks great, and it's good for the whole family. The entire family can watch it and get something out of it. And that's what I'm so tired of watching, of seeing like death and mayhem. And I'm just like, you know what? How about a little clean fun for a little bit? Because I don't want my nieces, nephews, godkids, like seeing people get eviscerated while we're watching a show, Tired of that.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you, Alex, for joining me.
Okay, now I have a question for you, Scotty.
Okay, go ahead.
What is the figure behind you? What is that behind your head over there?
So this is our killer from our first movie that we created called Siren. It's Relic the Clown. And it says on here, snitches get stitches. So it's an incense burner, by the way. So in the one scene where Relic, he's an evil clown, he has multiple personality disorder. His real name is Justin Freed. And he had like some type of meltdown or whatever, and he got put into an asylum, and he escaped the asylum, and so he was carrying a body of a jogger on his shoulder, and he's walking through, and there's a little girl that's trick-or-treating, and it's like she's dressed as a genie, and she goes trick-or-treat isn't tomorrow. He goes, and then he's like, this isn't a costume, I can wear what I want. And she's like, you're scary, I'm telling my mommy. He goes, snitches get stitches, you little bitch.
Nice.
And then he picks her up and he kidnaps her, and she's yelling, screaming, help me, help me. So yeah, and
that's pretty cool.
The girl was a daughter of one of my friends that I went to high school with, and she wanted her daughter's like in theater, and she's a model and that, so she wanted her to be in model. Absolutely. So
that's cool, man. Right on. Well, thanks for that.
Yep. Yeah, and the one actor that played in the movie, his stepdad is an SFX guy, and he made that for me and presented it to me at the premiere on stage.
Oh, right on, man. That's cool.
So that was really cool. So it was a really good gesture, and I mean, it was a lot of fun. We made a lot of mistakes in the movie, but we learned from them. It was our first movie, so what do you expect?
Hey, when people look back and see their early work, and they're like, I mean,
we're working on that. We just finished, like I told you before we started filming, we finished the script of our next movie, and I mean, it's really good. Like, it's really good. I can't wait to see this come to life. It's like 10 times better than our first one.
Cool. Well, you have to send me a link when you get it done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me, Alex. I truly appreciate it. You have a good rest of your day, and enjoy having Renovations.
Yeah, I'm gonna go plumb a sink. All right, take care, guys.
Yep.
See you.